I know how frustrating being in a reading slump can be, especially when you just want to read again. Like, I know how frustrating it can be, you guys. So today I'm bringing you 10 amazing book recommendations that could get you out of a reading slump. These are non-fiction books that cut across different subgenres of non-fiction, and I really enjoyed them when I read them. They are guaranteed to get you out of a reading slump. So let's get started. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Rachel here. As always, if you're joining me for the first time, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a thing. Like this video as well so that it is referred to other viewers. I'm going to be sharing 10 amazing non-fiction book recommendations that could get you out of a reading slump. Like I said, I know how frustrating reading slumps can be, especially when you just want to read again, but you just find yourself not in the mood to pick up a book and you're like, what can I pick up that would actually maybe inspire me or stimulate me to read more? So this particular video is for people who really love to read non-fiction, or people who read fiction but are interested in reading non-fiction books, or maybe you just feel like switching things up, or non-fiction is your preferred genre and you'd rather just stick with that, but you're looking for new recommendations that could get you out of a reading slump. Well, here I am. You're welcome in advance, so you might want to grab a pen and a paper and just note my recommendations. My first recommendation, which I don't think I've mentioned this book on my YouTube channel because I read it before I started my YouTube channel, is Ikigai. And this is the Japanese secret to a long and healthy life, written by Hector Garcia and Francesc Miralles. This book is not very long. I really just like it because I think what the authors did was that they went to like different villages in Japan. It's just to find out why people there live long lives, basically. So what is the Japanese secret to living a long and happy life? And they interviewed a lot of older people that are like 100 years old and above to find out what actually makes them happy, having lived for so long, and why they're happy. Like, what really is the secret? Why are they healthy? Why are they not like, you know, obese or unhealthy? Why are they, you know, what do they do to actually live a long, healthy, happy life? And in this book, the Ikigai is said when you find your passion, your mission, your vocation, and profession all in one, then you have found your Ikigai. So if you're able to do what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what you're good at, when you meet that in the center, that is literally your Ikigai. So the people of Japan believe that everyone has an Ikigai. That's a reason to jump out of bed every morning. Inspiring and comforting, this book will give you the life-changing tools to uncover your personal Ikigai. It will show you how to leave urgency behind, find your purpose, nurture friendships, and throw yourself into your passions. Bring meaning and joy to every day with Ikigai. Yeah, I really liked this book, honestly, and I learned a couple of things from it, like following your daily rituals, knowing what to do, how to stay healthy, what you can do, you know, to just keep your brain stimulated. And it's a short one. It's like 100 and like 80 something pages, and it covers different things like staying young while growing old, little things that add up to a long and happy life, how to live longer and better by finding your purpose, how to turn work and free time into spaces for growth, basically exercises from the East that promote health and longevity, what the world's longest living people eat and drink, just to know what their diet is like. I learned so much from it, honestly, and I wasn't expecting to learn as much as I did in such a short time. So it's something that when I wasn't feeling like reading a lot and I actually picked up, I felt inspired to just do more generally, and I found my love for reading coming back. So that's a good one that you want to pick up. My second recommendation is Maya Angelou's I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. This is the first in her autobiography, which is like 7 volumes. I had never read anything by Maya Angelou. I always knew who she was, but I didn't know anything much about her, like her autobiography exposes. We actually selected this book, I think, as a book of the month at the Readers Hub, and I really liked it. Like, it was really nice. Like, I was reading it and I felt like it was fiction at some point, because I'm like, wow, how on earth is this supposed to be someone's story? Even if they say there's a lot of debate about whether or not this is like 100% true, or whether it wasn't like edited in a fiction way or whatever, but The story is interesting, like it's really, really good. So Maya Angelou's 7 volumes of autobiography are a testament to the talent and resilience of this extraordinary writer. Loving the world, she also knows its cruelty. As a black woman, she has known discrimination and extreme poverty, but also hope and joy, achievement and celebration. In this first volume of her autobiography, Maya Angelou beautifully evokes her childhood with her grandmother in the American South of the 1930s. She learns the power of the white folks at the other end of town and suffers the terrible trauma of rape by her mother's lover. Yeah, this is the first one. It was so interesting to see what her life story is about. So if you've ever wondered a lot about Maya Angelou, you hear her being talked about a lot, but you've not really read any of her own biographies, like to see what her life is like, that's a very good recommendation. My third recommendation is As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. This is also a short non-fiction book that was written by James Allen, and it's been updated. I think it was first written a long time ago. This was gifted to me by my friend in like 2019, and it actually has 2 books, As a Man Thinketh and From Poverty to Power. But I feel like this book, why I really liked it, I mean, I don't know if it's like everybody might vibe with it, but I really liked it because he had like simple ideas and just profound ideas on how to think, how your thoughts affect your life, how your thoughts affect your world, how your thoughts affect basically how you present yourself in the world, you know. And I really did enjoy it and I learned from it. Let me just read out a quote. It says, "We are made or unmade by ourselves. By our thoughts we forge the weapons by which we can destroy ourselves. Likewise, we also fashion the tools with which we build for ourselves heavenly mansions of joy and strength and peace. By the right choice and true application of thought, we ascend to the divine perfection. By the abuse and wrong application of thought, we descend below the level of the beast. Between these 2 extremes are all the grades of character. We are our own maker and master." So that's basically what the book emphasizes, and it's a short one. No, this one is a short one. It's like 192 pages, and it's 2 books, remember, 2 in 1. So As a Man Thinketh and then From Poverty to Power. So both of those books are like really short and compact that you can learn from. Another recommendation that I have is Man's Search for Meaning. This is sort of like, it's by Viktor E. Frankl. This is one of my favorite books of all times. I think that this is an autobiography. It's basically about his struggle while in the concentration camps, in the Nazi concentration camp. And my goodness, this book is that book. Look at how tiny it is. This is one book that I feel like everybody should read, whether or not it's your thing or not. It's an amazing autobiography. One of the outstanding classics to emerge from the Holocaust. Man's Search for Meaning is Viktor Frankl's story of his struggle for survival in Auschwitz and other Nazi concentration camps. Today, this remarkable tribute to hope offers us an avenue to finding greater meaning and purpose in our lives. Let me just read out a quote from the book, right? He said something like this. He goes, "Man can preserve a vestige of spiritual freedom, of independence of mind, even in such terrible conditions of psychic and physical stress. We who lived in concentration camps can remember the men who walked through the huts, comforting others, giving away their last piece of bread. They may have been few in number, but they offer sufficient proof that everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's way. And there were always choices to make. Every day, every hour offered the opportunity to make a decision which determined whether you would or would not submit to those powers which threatened to rob you of your very self, your inner freedom, which determined whether or not you would become the plaything of circumstance, renouncing freedom and dignity to become molded into the form of the typical inmate. Fundamentally, therefore, any man can, even under such circumstances, decide what shall become of him mentally and spiritually." And that was so inspiring. Like, this is somebody who, you must obviously have heard about the Nazi concentration camps. If you haven't, Google it to see what type of circumstances these people were living in as at that time. And this is somebody coming out of it and telling you that man can literally become anything no matter what he's going through physically or externally. The book is just so inspiring, and I'm so happy that I actually read it. My last recommendation for the part 1 of this non-fiction book recommendations is by Bassey. This is a memoir in essay that uncovers a lot about mental health. This is a Nigerian writer, and I love this book. I totally loved it. She's a spoken word poet, and she does amazingly with words. Like, oh my goodness, you guys, when I read this book, I was blown away, and I was so happy that I had the opportunity to interview the author just to see what her thought process was while she was writing this book. So you guys can go and check that out. I actually was able to find out what it was, going through that process. So let me just read out the synopsis of this book so that you guys get an idea of what is going on. So in I'm Telling the Truth But I'm Lying, Bassey breaks open our understanding of mental health by giving us intimate access to her own. Exploring shame, confusion, medication, and family in the process, Bassey looks at how mental health impacts every aspect of our lives, how we appear to others, and most important, to ourselves, and challenges our preconceptions about what it means to be normal. Viscerally raw and honest, the result is an exploration of the stories we tell ourselves to make sense of who we are, and the ways, as honest as we try to be, each of these stories is also a lie. It's such a beautiful book that really talks about, mental health, explores anxiety, bipolar 2, depression, diagnosis, and things like that. And the way she writes it, being so raw about herself, makes it easier for people to talk about themselves and talk about mental health struggles and challenges that you might be facing. I know that in Nigeria, this is one of the major struggles that we have, is the stigma that is attached and associated with mental illnesses and mental disorders. And I know that personally, as a mental health advocate, I'm very passionate about raising an awareness on mental health, to just use my voice to educate people, let people know that, look, it's okay to not be okay. And the way that you have physical illnesses and we are open about it, the same way that we should be open about having mental illnesses, and to encourage other people to speak up, especially in Nigeria, because we have this Nigeria is currently ranked as like the 15th most suicide prone country in the world, and there's a lot of contributing factors to that. So speaking up about mental health challenges is always very important, and I love the fact that this book was written by a Nigerian, though she's not based particularly in Nigeria, but it's written by a Nigerian, and it's out there for people to read, just connect with, and share with your loved ones, your relatives, your friends, just to know more about what maybe someone who is going through maybe bipolar, depression, or anxiety often feels like, why they isolate themselves, why they stay on their own, and just give you a general idea of what that might be, even if you particularly might not be able to relate to it. So yeah, those are my 5. I said I was going to do 10 for you guys, but because I don't want this video to run too long, so this is the end of the part 1. I'm going to shoot the part 2 shortly, and I'm going to upload it as well so that it's in a different video. But tell me, amongst these 5 books, if you've read any one of them, or you plan to read anyone, let me know in the comments which one stood out for you, which one was a good read, and which one you might be willing to just pick up. And I think that these books would definitely get you out of a reading slump for sure. So stay tuned for my part 2, where I'm going to run down the remaining 5 books and let you guys know what you can read to come out of a reading slump. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Bye.